Hello, welcome once again to the Candid Cast. My name is Lucky Egede, your coach and host on this platform. We've been taking the financial independence series, and for a few weeks now we have been looking at the common financial errors that people make in their youth and they use the rest of their life to regret. And we have talked about the error of spending more than you earn is a big error. The error of postponing retirement planning. We have talked about how retirement should be planned, what retirement planning is not, things that you think you are putting away for retirement, and when it is time for retirement, those things will collapse like a pack of cards. It will look like you never planned at all. And we recommended some few investment patterns that are sustainable in retirement. So this episode, failure to diversify investment portfolio is an error. And this episode has come as a result of comments that I got from the last episode. In the last episode, there was emphasis on waiting on dividend, buying shares and waiting on dividend for survival in retirement. But a few people I have inadvertently created the impression that dividend from quoted stock is the only way to hold retirement portfolio. That impression was not intended. It's an error to hold all your eggs in one basket. Portfolio needs to be diversified. And you recall I mentioned Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 2, he said, divide your portfolio into 7, even into 8, because you never can tell what misfortune will occur on earth. And we have lived, anybody who is up to 10 years old even know that misfortunes come like, one of my friends used to say, wahala be like bicycle. So it can come in any way, it can come anytime. You just see trouble that you didn't plan for. People, if you have all your eggs in one basket, one single disaster can send the person as if he has never done anything in the past. Even announcement from government can change a whole lot of things. So when I say maintain a diversified portfolio, I mean develop that investment strategy that involves spreading investment across different asset classes, different sectors, different geographical regions. So divestment and diversification of portfolio has a lot of meaning. Is a very broad heading that we can work on. What is the goal of diversifying across all this? It reduces risk and increases potentials for return. If you do this, you stand a better chance of surviving market fluctuations and to achieve long-term financial goals. You have your financial goals, your retirement goals, how you want to live, the level of comfort you want to enjoy when you are retired. Retirement is not supposed to be a sorrow. It's a time you rest back after you have labored. They say retirement is sweet, rest is sweet after labor. Retirement time is a time of rest. You have labored. It is not a time when you'll be racking your head on what to eat and where the next plate of food will come from. No, I don't wish that for you. So what are the gains of diversified portfolio? The first thing we see is that it reduces risk. You stand the chance of reducing risk. When you spread your portfolio like is recommended into 7, into 8 places or even more, into different asset classes, you can reduce the risk of significant loss. When there is challenge in one sector, you are shielded, or it is cushioned. The loss from that sector is cushioned by the gains from another sector. When stock market crisis started in Nigeria in 2008, I was neck deep into the stock market. But what helped me is that when I make money from stock market, I pull part of it out to buy land. As good as stock market was, it looked like there was no investment. 2003 to 2008 in Nigeria, it looks like, to 2007, I mean, it looks like there can't be any investment that will give you the type of return that stock market was giving. But even if the purchase of landed property did not seem to return that much, I use it to hold part of my money. So by the time the stock market started coming down in 2008, those properties that I bought were my bailout plan, and they really helped. One may start in a region. When we are talking of geographical diversification, you may just wake up, you have your business in Ukraine. All of a sudden, there is Russia invasion. So if you are spread across places, you may not be so much of a victim. You will have something to survive on in another climate where they are not fighting. You may be an American investing in Canada. It has been so rosy for so many years. And you find that one sentence from the president of your country will make a nonsense of everything you have in Canada. And you see you spiraling down. Shops are closing. Goods are not selling because people have to resent anything America in Canada. But it's for a time. But how do you survive that time? Diversification will help you to achieve it. Number two, benefit of diversification is that you have potential for higher returns. Potential for higher return. When you diversify, it helps you capture growth opportunities in different market sectors. So like when we're playing the capital market, which I still do to an extent, you find people, because banking stock is always the most active stock, particularly in Nigeria, a lot of people major on bank. Some people who are waiting for dividend are majoring in manufacturing sector. Oh, manufacturing is stable, nothing can happen to Nestle, Nigerian breweries, Guinness. They just stay with manufacturing. No, spread across. The banking sector may do well in some years. There are some years that manufacturing will do better. There are some years that it will be insurance. Just spread across technology and the rest. When you spread, you have chances for a higher return. When there is a pain in one sector, you get the benefit from another sector. So you have potential for higher return. So the third reason why you need to diversify your portfolio is improved stability. Everyone wants, human nature looks for certainty, look for stability. But life is a risk, like we'll be talking about that subsequently. So a diversified portfolio provides more consistent returns over time. You earn from this, you earn from that. When one sector is down, another one is up, and you find that you are better off for it over time. So now that we know it is good to diversify your portfolio, I expect the next question will be, what options are open to us in investment? Because people will raise that question. Now that you say we should diversify, where and where do we go? So let's look at those areas where we need to go. I mentioned stock the last time, and it was picked as the only one. It's not the only one. Equities offer potentials for long-term growth, but it has risk. Let me caution at this point. Like I said, in 2008, what was our honeypot from 2003 to 2007 became a bitter pill to swallow in 2008. There is risk in the stock market. So check your risk appetite when you are playing there, and make sure it is not your only source. You must have your portfolio diversified. So depending on your risk appetite, you can play in the stock market. You can also buy stock and hold for dividends only. If you are risk averse, then you don't need to watch the price, whether it's going up or it's coming down. Just wait for your dividend every year. It will come. So you have it from the year that manufacturing sector is down, banking sector may be doing very well. Like 2024 in Nigeria, the manufacturing sector could not pay dividend, but the banking sector upped their dividend so much. Number two, you can invest in bonds. Bonds is very stable, fixed income investment, almost zero risk. You can invest in government bonds, you can invest in corporate bonds. Ask your banker, they will direct you and guide you on what to do, how to go about it. Bond is safe, but it has a lower return, is low risk, low return. You can invest also in mutual fund. Mutual fund is not too different from bond, except that bond is for a longer term. Mutual fund is where you put your money, You see your interest calculated on daily basis, and you can pull out any time. 3 days notice, your money will be back in your account. Bond holds your money for much longer. When you put in bond, it is locked. And for somebody who you have challenge with self-control, bond becomes better than mutual fund. If you know that you keep your money where any small challenge, you go and pull it out, waste it, and begin to live a life of regret. No. So you may prefer bond to mutual fund, because mutual fund, when you are challenged, you may easily pick the money. Bond takes a longer process for you to recall your investment. Number 4, you can invest in real estate. Like I mentioned, real estate, there are so many ways to invest in real estate. Often I have bought land, and from my personal experience in Nigeria, the ones that I have done, you grow your property 10 times the value in 10 years. Like when I buy property 350,000 in 2008, in 2018 that property cannot be less than 3.5 million. So it's one of the ways to keep money. So if I buy property 3.5 million naira in 2018, by 2028 I expect that property should not be less than 35 million. So you just buy and keep is one of the ways to do to plan for retirement. The property is there. Property will continue to appreciate in value because population is rising by the day, and there is no other place where population is rising the way it's rising in Africa. Infrastructure deficit makes the developed areas where people will have demand for land is getting slimmer by the day. What you find now is you have an estate that was developed in 1990 because there is no new estate. All the low density estates are becoming high density. You want to live in Ikeja GRA, for example. The colonial masters created Ikeja GRA. Nobody has created anything like that after. And because of the infrastructure and facility there, everybody wants to live there. So anyone that can afford it, we want to go. When Ikeja GRA was planned in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, a plot was 4,000 square meters. Now people are cutting 300 square meters, want to get 200 square meters and just pitch somewhere in the GRA. It becomes a very high density. It becomes highly commercialized. The same thing has happened to Ikoyi. So everywhere there is government estate, we see the same thing in Magodo. All these examples are from Lagos, and I know it is not uncommon that you find it elsewhere, that anywhere that is government managed estate, the purpose is not fixed. You move in, it is a low density residential estate. In 10 years, it's a highly commercialized, high density estate. You see it across all over the place. So when you invest, the value, as they are cutting it in pieces, that's how the value is going up. You find that the property you bought for 50 million naira for 1,000 square meters, you now cut 300 square meters to sell for 200 million after 10 years, because infrastructure is not growing at the rate at which population is growing. It makes real estate a very viable place to play in that sense. Then number 5, commodities. Investing in commodities. There are several commodities people invest in. People buy gold and hold. It will appreciate. People buy oil, particularly palm oil and other agricultural products to hedge against inflation. When you hold agricultural product when it's in season and you sell off season, palm oil, beans, maize, cocoa, they are seasonal products. During season, they come very cheap. Off season, they go very high. And you can be playing with that even when you are working. And when you retire, it becomes something that you just do as a favorite past time. And it will give you revenue for your survival. Farming can be a retirement investment. We all have our individual villages where we come from. Most people in Nigeria and in Africa, we have our rural areas. We migrate to urban areas for our career growth and advancement. But it does not detach us from connections to our roots, to our village, where we still have our village farmland. If a person is planting 50 palm trees every year in his village, at the end of 10 years, you have 500 trees. a palm tree gives average of 12 liters of palm oil per annum. So if you have 500 palm tree and each one is giving you 500 liters, 12 liters a year, you'll be having about 6,000 liters a year in palm oil. The last time I discussed with a farmer who is in this business, he's retired and he's making his money from palm oil. He said 30 liters of palm oil sells for 57,000 naira. So that's about 1,900 naira per liter. And if you multiply by 6,000, it gives you a revenue of 11.4 million naira a year in retirement. I think the cost of maintaining your palm plantation of 500 trees, you may not spend 4 million naira in a year. So it gives you a very comfortable retirement. Then strategies for diversification of your portfolio. You look at asset allocation. When we say don't have all your egg in one basket, you send your portfolio into different asset classes. You can buy land. That is one asset. You can also set up tree farming on the land or in any other place. You can maintain cash crops. You can have some money in bonds, you can have in mutual fund, you can have in stock market. Just check what percentage of how much money is available to me to invest, and what percentage goes to each of these areas, classes of assets. Allocate it properly in a way that the collapse of one does not send you spiraling down. Then you do sector diversification. We've talked of asset diversification of the asset. You talk of diversification of sector. So even for somebody that is ordinarily in stock market, like I mentioned, do banking, do insurance, do manufacturing, do consumer goods, invest in technology. Whatever be your preference, just make sure you are not tied to one end only. You also have geographical diversification. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have investment in Canada, also have in US, have in Nigeria, put in Ghana. As many countries as you have access to, that you can put your investment, so that war in one region, government announcement in another region, those who have all their monies in Nigeria will just wake up and see that you have 460 million naira, which is $1 million. One single announcement will send your $1 million to become $300,000. It happened in recent history in Nigeria. When you move your currency from 460, all of a sudden, under 6 months, you see it 1,800 naira to $1. So if you check your net worth, it has just spiraled down. And if you have that money in other clime and you bring it into Nigeria, you become rich all of a sudden for doing nothing additional. So investment style diversification is another method of that. Combine different investment styles. Like even in the same stock market, you can have value stock, you have growth stock, you have dividend stock. So you have different reasons why you invest in different types of stock. Some you hold just for purpose of collecting dividend. There are others that you hold, dividend is not the issue. You want how many months or weeks or days do I want to stay in this stock? And once I get it, I am out of that place. This is the value that I want to achieve there. And once I achieve that value, I move on from that stock into another. So we have always known that it is not good to have all your eggs in one basket. By building a diversified portfolio, you can reduce risk and increase potential returns. This is where we'll draw the curtain today on the Candid Cast, hoping that I have succeeded in guiding you further on how to diversify your portfolio. Don't put everything in one place, whether in sector, whether in geography, or whatever. Thank you for staying tuned to the Candid Cast. Until I see you again, God bless you.